Hi, welcome everyone. Thanks for coming to today's webinar. And this is about Clinked and Zapier and how you can sort of integrate different apps that way. So today, our team, we've got myself and then Sarah, who will be presenting for you today. And our agenda, we have, first of all, what is Zapier? How to scope an integration, how to create a Zap, and then we'll show you a use case as well. And in this instance, we're using Dropbox, and then we'll go through some resources and have a bit of a Q&A session at the end. So with that, I will pass over to Sarah.
Okay, great. Thanks, Olivia. So as Olivia said, we're going to start off just talking about what is Zapier. So for those of you who might be aware, Zapier is a third-party software product. They are connecting leading software applications, including Clinked, to each other, and also providing not just the connection, but also different forms of workflow and automation. So to be able to go to their website, it's just zapier.com. Once you navigate to there, you'll be able to actually search to see what other software applications are, or what applications are actually supported. With that, how to scope an integration. So when you get onto the website, it is all really just for scoping. It is all based upon the website. You're going to be doing a couple of things. So this is actually a view of the Clinked integrations. And you can see here on the middle, we have Clinked here. So we actually have a link that we'll share around to everybody afterwards so that you can see what you can do with Clinked itself in Zapier. So with Zapier, in this case, this would be coming from Clinked to another software application. You can also search the other way. So say you wanted to start with Dropbox and you wanted to go from Dropbox to Clinked. That would be, you'd want to start with Dropbox first and then go into Clinked. Now this is really just a view of how to scope. Once you get comfortable using Zapier, you're able to just do this in your own page, or your own account, being able to actually create those zaps to go back and forth and actually saying, which account or which application do I want to be my action and which one do I want to be my trigger. And you can play around with it that way. So this is a great example here. This website or this landing page just gives you an idea of what are the 2,000 plus applications that you can connect Clinked to. And then also from there, when you do the scoping, you want to be able to dig in even deeper to be able to see what are the two components, or what are the components that you can do between the two. So we're just going to go through, how do you actually create a Zap? So we'll go back to that same page we were just talking about a moment ago. So if I had actually I wanted to say I have Google Calendar. I want to be able to actually send data from my Google Calendar into Clinked. This is something actually we have clients ask us quite a bit. As Clinked users, you'll know that there is Calendar inside of the Clinked groups. That is a one-way tool. So from Clinked, it will then send an event notification to a member's email address, and that email address will receive a calendar invitation, and that's really how that ends up going onto that individual's calendar. And that calendar can be, a Google Calendar, it can be an Office calendar, it can be all sorts of different ones. We do not provide purposefully the integration from those various calendars into Clinked. And it's really just because there are so many different types of calendars to be able to do. And we want it to be as, friendly as possible to all of the different options. So this is one thing that we've actually done with our clients quite a bit, is to say, what can we do from Google Calendar, let's just say, or from Office into Clinked. So you can see here, the first is connect this app with this one. So pretty straightforward. This is all exploration, again, via the Zapier website. And within that, you can see you start with when this happens. So that's the trigger. Then do this, which is the action. So it's pretty much an if this, then that functionality. So when you go in and you're looking at the Google Calendar and you drop this down, you'll see the icon, which is Google Calendar, with the various events that they support. In addition to that, with Clinked, you would be able to see the various triggers that we support. within Zapier as well. We're constantly improving this as well. So if there's something that you're missing, you can always send that into our feature request section, and we'll be able to evaluate how we would do that if it's something we're able to achieve on our side as well. When you do that, just provide us as much information as well in the workflow. It helps us be able to understand that. So once you've done that and you say make a Zap, you'll actually be navigated into the Zap creation process. We're going to go through the process of talking that through on Dropbox. So with that, we've had some clients, in addition to asking about how can we actually integrate Google Calendar into a Clinked group and a grouped calendar, we've also been asked, how can I integrate my Dropbox full, maybe it's you have the desktop version of Dropbox for personal or for business, and you want to be able to drop files into particular folders and have those files also duplicated into Clinked without having to drag and drop them in. So that's the use case we're going to go through right now. With that, if you've already gone through that first page where I said, okay, I've got Dropbox, I have Clinked, I want to be able to, when a new file is put into a folder, also duplicate that file into a Clinked folder. So that's what we're going to walk through here. So you can see on the screen, this is all Dropbox oriented. So it's just the confirmation that you've chosen the app. So you've got Dropbox. If you decide Dropbox isn't it and you want to look at Google Drive, you could change that here too. And then this is the trigger. So there are, I think with Dropbox, there's like 8 different triggers that you can play around with. In this one, we did new file in folder. Once you have that set up, you then go into, you basically follow the steps. So first is confirm app and event. Then it's actually logging into your account. I'm not going to show you that because it is to my personal account. But then the next one is customize the file. So with the customizing the file, customizing the file is just looking for an existing file that's already in your account just to be able to run a test. So it's just you choose exactly the folder where the file would be dropped. And then you're able to then do the 4th step, which is find data. And then you're able to actually see, okay, I found what's already there. So that means in the future, I'll be able to find the new ones that you put in there. Now on the Clink side, once you're done with the editing, you've got the plus here. It will automatically bring you to a new section, which looks exactly like this. So again, you go through the process of confirming choose the app and the event. You log into your Clinked account. When you do that, you also have to choose which group it is that you want as well. So you can see here the customize file. So what we're saying is I want to actually connect that file or that folder that you set up in Dropbox to go to this group and this group's folder. So in this case, the group here is Willow Bend Investments and the folder is Fund 1. So that's where this file is going to live. And in that also, in the file section, you're going to have a handful of different options in that 4th category or that 4th section here where you choose the different components. Within Dropbox, generally it is, we say that it's the one file. You're going to have a lot of different options that are in there that you can test around on your side as well to see what works. For us with this one, it is one file. And then if you want to, you can put in what the file name is. It can be the file name that's already on the file that's been put into Dropbox, or you can name it something else if you want to. You can have various extensions and things of that nature. But you can see here they had the note, which is by default, we use the same name and extension as the original file. Within that, then you'll go through the process of sending the data. So it's actually like doing that test file itself. And once you're done, your Zap is ready. Once it's ready, you turn it on, and that single action, that Zap from Dropbox's folder that you've chosen to the Clinked group folder that you've chosen will work going back and forth. I will say there sometimes is a little bit of a lag. It could be anywhere from 2 minutes to 3 minutes, depending upon like internet connections and things of that nature, just, as software applications can do. But I think in testing this one, Olivia and I did it together, and it actually is pretty quick. So it tends to be pretty immediate actually. And if you set up notifications inside of your group for that one specifically, and you've enabled it to have a notification for new content, you'll get a notification when those files are uploaded. So with that, really just want to go resources. So inside of Clinked, you have the option when you go to your profile to actually choose our help section. And so when you're in a help section, you're actually able to do, or you're able, when you come into the profile, you can come to the help side or you can come to the feature request. So remember earlier I'd mentioned if you have zaps that you would like to be able to do with different applications, you can always submit a feature request by clicking onto here and actually submitting that into there, and our team will evaluate it. In addition, if you go to the help section here, that actually brings you to our help center. Inside of our help center, we actually do have a few, I think we've done a search here for integrations, and we've actually outlined how you will do this Dropbox integration right here. We also have looked at how can you use both leading video conference tools, so Zoom and GoToMeeting. So both of those are in here as well. And we also have an article about Zapier, and how to, again, go through exactly what we just talked about. So how do you scope it? How do you actually create that Zap? And I think the use case that we have on that one is Google Calendar, and it's going from Google Calendar into Clinked. You can also look at the other way around if you want to, depending on the application. So with that, we have questions and answers. So on that side of things, we can open it up for questions. Marilyn, if you want to unmute yourself and ask any questions, we can talk through what you have on your mind.
I guess I'm guessing this one, it might be possibilities are endless in terms of, because I'm just thinking of the way that I use Clinked. It is one of my favorite services. I've even got friends who have no technical skills who have been able to upload, download, etc. So thank you for that.
Oh, wow, that's amazing.
It is. Seriously, she is the least technical savvy person. And I'm now saying, yeah, just put it into Clinked and then it appears, so that's great.
That's fantastic.
And I'm guessing, is it a case of possibilities are endless? Because I'm thinking of the way that I use Clinked. And I'm now just thinking, okay, I wonder if it could do that. So if we have a use case,
yeah,
and we can't immediately see it in Zapier, is it that's when you're saying, actually just tell us then what you want to do, how your workflow is, and then you'll either say, yes, we can do it, or no, we can't. Is that kind of the way it works with this connection?
Yeah, we've got two things. So the first is there's over 2,000 other software products that you can use to be able to integrate via Zapier or Zapier. So with that, if you see it listed in there, then it's something that you can then test with and see which actions and which triggers are available on that side, and then how do they marry up with the ones that we have on our side. If there's something that's missing between those two, that's where, we've already said, yeah, we link up with that one, which is great. And then we can potentially look at is there a possibility of doing that workflow based upon triggers and actions. The second part is if you have a software product that you use that isn't necessarily in Zapier yet, that's where you need to actually reach out to the other company to say, are you going to do an integration on Zapier? Are you going to do a partnership with them? Because I'd like to, and I'd like to do a connection between you and Clinked. And that's where, from their side, they'll be able to do a bit more to be able to help you get on board as well.
Great. And I've also heard talk of, I'm not yet a Zapier user, I've also heard talk of webhooks and API and, Where does all of that fit into this?
Yeah, so we do have an open API. So if you want to be able to look at our open API and do development on your side, you can definitely do that. Or if you need support from our side, we can offer professional services to help with creating an API between one system to another. So that's something we're happy to be able to have conversations with you about. On that, we can always scope it with you. And the way that you do that is just contact our support team. So support@clinked.com. And with that, yeah, we can talk about that. But our API documentation is actually on our website. So if you go to clinked.com and you go to the resources section, there is actually our API documentation. So if you're unable to do that yourself, you can have a look through that. In addition to that, with Webhook, we don't have an integration with Webhook. I know that's really popular with a certain segment of our client base. It's something we've been looking into, but it isn't something that's come up as like an immediate need. So I think, Olivia, you've been doing a bit of work on our feature request side of things. Do you have any insights on that one?
No, not at the minute. But yeah, obviously it's come up a few times, but it's not necessarily something that, maybe in our roadmap at the minute.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a good thing for us to have on our in our mind, so that as we continue to develop the product forward and integrate, we're very keen on being as flexible as possible for our clients. The only thing we have to do is be able to weigh out how many clients actually want this, like what's the impact across our footprint of clients.
Wonderful. And another question, because I'm not yet thinking in terms of Zapier workflow, is there something that when you look at how your clients are using it, is there something that's really, really popular that somebody like myself wouldn't have thought of that and I will go, oh my goodness, that's great, I could do that? What are the most popular things that your clients are using this for at the moment?
Yeah, I think just off the cuff, there's the Google Calendar side of things, or any calendars into Clinked. That does seem to be a big one. It depends upon the group though. So, with Clinked, it's run group by group. And so when we talk about shared calendars and things of that nature, the reason why Clinked has never been set up to be able to do a two-way connection between different calendars is, one, the flexibility side of things and which ones would we choose. And then secondly, it has to do with the fact that a lot of shared calendars are really busy, and the groups are really meant to be working with a specific subset of an entire organization. So with that, it does get a little bit heavy. However, we have had clients who said, actually, I'm a sole practitioner. My calendar is, I want any events that I have on my calendar to go to this one group. So that's where we've said, okay, what calendar is it that you use? Do you use Office or do you use Google? If they use Google, what we just showed you a moment ago works really well. Office is one that we're playing around with at the moment. We're trying to figure out what can we do more of. We have an increasing amount of teams that are using Office products. We've historically looked at Google because it's something we use on our side, and also we like their development side of things. They seem to be very flexible as well, as so that marries up well with us. But we've seen more and more of a demand for the Office side. In addition to that, we recently, Dropbox is the other one we get a lot of asks for. Google Drive comes up from time to time as well. We do have a connection within our Clinked folders for Google Drive. So you can actually put a folder for Google Drive into Clinked, and then it will always navigate you out to that Google Drive. But the issue that people have come up with, and the reason why the Zap works, is because they are working with groups that don't necessarily have a Google account or a Google Suite supported interface. And so because of that, they wanted to be able to internally use Google Drive, externally use Clinked. And so that's where that works, but they didn't want to have to put a document in one place and then do it again in another place. So that's where that works well. In addition, voice conferencing has become a bigger topic. Sure, as everyone knows, I think let's Zoom is a statement everybody knows now. And so with that, we've recently started looking at the Zaps that are available to be able to go from, say, Zoom, if you've created a Zoom meeting and you always do it for one group or you do it for one client specifically, how you actually get those details for the Zoom meeting into a calendar invitation, or just to create a new calendar invitation and then, make some additional edits once you get into the Clinked group. In addition, we looked at GoToMeeting as well to be able to do that. Google Meet is coming soon on that side. I think they're in a beta test at the moment. So that's the other component that we really looked at. But those are the 3 use cases that I hear the most. Olivia, have you heard anything in addition to that on the support side?
No, not really. I'd say it is basically, like storage, for example, like Dropbox, that sort of thing. And then calendars mainly. We've had people that have suggested, when you get a notification, say in Slack or something like that you'll get a message in. But it just depends how many people we've asked for the same request. So, yeah. Yeah,
that one's an interesting one because it's... Slack is set up as a chat application, and we haven't looked at doing chat as a trigger within Zapier yet. So that's something that we might do in the future, but at the moment we're keeping that to be separate at the time. But all of our tools you can actually utilize outside of the chat side.
Wonderful. I use something called Big Marker when I'm running my training webinar workshops and full events. So I might have to have a look and just see if there's anything that can be done between Clinked and Big Marker. That's something I'll maybe explore and look and see how that pans out.
Yeah, that'd be great. It'd be great to hear if it is one of the software products that is supported in Zapier.
Wonderful, thank you.
Yeah, of course. One other thing, this is a non-Zapier related one, but one of the other integrations that we do have is with form builders, and one of them is JotForm. So if you have the need to do forms with any of your clients, that is something that you can look at using as well. So JotForm, we have a direct integration, but we can also bring in any other form builder using a functionality called iframes. So it's in our notes. It sounds like you know iframes.
I do. There's another quiz builder that I use, and I know the iframes thing comes in terms of embedding it into my blog, etc. So that's very good to know. I didn't realize you could do that.
Yeah, you can do that. So those quizzes that you have, if you want to put that in as a note, so it'd be utilizing the note functionality within inside of Clinked. And then I think we have a couple articles in our help center. If you can't find it, tell me, and we'll make sure to get it over for you. We are actually doing a very concentrated effort right now on our help center and just putting in more content. So anytime someone flags up like, how do I do this? And it's not in the Help Center, we very quickly create an article. So Olivia and I have been working on that over the past weeks.
Fantastic. No, that is brilliant. Thank you very much.
Yeah, of course. I know we've also had another person, Yvette, join. Yvette, is there anything that, I know you're on mute at the moment, but if you want to unmute and say hi, we have a bit of time. So if there's anything you'd like to talk through when it comes to Zapier, please unmute yourself and ask away.
No, I came in late, sorry, I had other course, so I only had to have the question and answers I heard, and that's it. So okay. I'm not going to ask anything because otherwise I ask double. So next time, better.
Don't worry. Well, just so you know, we do have, I've recorded this, so I can send this over to you,
yes,
so that you can actually see it as well. We do another session in the afternoon as well, for the US time zones. So we sometimes share this recording, or we sometimes share the US recording. So if you ever watch one of these and it's not you, it's not the one you remember, that's the reason why. But yeah, that will be shared, I think either tomorrow or Monday. And so you'll have it so you can have a proper look through, and then you can just message us with any questions at support@clinked.com.
Yeah, I will look into if you send me the message, because I'm going on a holiday. So.
Oh, nice. Fantastic. That is a good thing to be doing.
I still have something else, but that's not connected with Zapier, and I've connection with Anna about the announcements, but that's something else.
Okay, yeah, great. I'm glad that you have. So I know on that side of things, our support team will happily answer the questions for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so in that regard, I'll let Anna and team reply back to you on that.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Thanks.
Great.
I will see your message, and then I can see whatever you told us before.
Perfect. Okay. Yeah, that sounds good. I think on that side then, I think we've covered everything from our perspective. Olivia, is there anything that you want to add? And if not, do you want to sign us off?
Yeah, no, I think we've covered everything for today, all the important parts. So thanks so much for coming, everyone. And as Sarah said, if you need any assistance, we've got support@clinked.com. Thank you.
Thanks.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye.